Hello out there and welcome to Crepuscularity Discuss. Today's episode is all my abridged series. In other words, we are going to talk about 3 of the more popular abridged series of MLP Friendship is Magic. Today with me one less person. Let's introduce first things, Byter. Welcome to the show.
Blarg.
And with us also, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very easily confused. And hidden behind the OC of hidden behind his own OC is with us for the first time the Voice of Reason.
Hello.
Hello, Voice of Reason.
Can you actually see my OC, or is it just my?
It's because 3 is thinner than 4, so it's all moved out of position.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the problem. I am hoping PastAnalysis will join us as well again. Yeah, at least he's in the chat still with us. So yeah, and you will see PastAnalysis represented with his OC covering my face. I guess it's an improvement.
The OCs are perfectly covering our faces, except for Voice of Reason. As professional starters we've ever had in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may want to move that down.
Well, yeah. I guess we can get started. How do I get back in? I love the professionalism. So, I'll send you invite. You know, hello everybody. Oh, I believe he's already back, and I'm kind of throwing this. Okay. So welcome back to the show, PastAnalysis. Hello. And we can't hear you.
You're automatically muted. Top right.
He's muted. Hello, PastAnalysis. Not hearing you.
Not
Still
hearing.
Not. Oh. No. Well, I guess.
There we are.
Now you're back. Now you're back. Okay.
Okay. Yay. Sorry about that. Oh. Sorry about that.
We are kind of used to a screw-up beginning in the show anyway, so...
At least it wasn't half an hour long.
For once it wasn't my fault.
Yes!
So, anyway, since you're here, PastAnalysis, what can the people usually expect on your YouTube channel to find?
I do headcanon reviews, and I'm trying to get episode reviews, but I've been having a lot of troubles lately, so I'm hopefully going to get that started this week.
Mm-hmm.
I have gonna order some stuff today and hopefully get it by Tuesday. So.
Mm-hmm. As far as I know, no microphone as well.
Yeah, just had to get jammed into USB. So.
Yeah.
Shall we actually get onto the topic?
Yeah.
Wait, you just skip me.
Yeah.
We normally have this at the end, and ANY is completely out of the way. But since we've done it, yeah, okay. What do you do?
Yeah. Exactly. Voice of Reason. What about your channel?
Well, you can find most of them pony reviews. I did a couple of podcasts like early in my YouTube career with something called Strictly TV. They were really not that good. It was just me and my friends discussing television. But I started off with my pony reviews with a guide to what episodes would a new fan just start off watching, and then I started off my worst episodes, and then I just started the new review there, and hoping to do the best and worst of Season 3 soon. Also, you can also find written reviews for the comics on DHN under Screenplay.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm getting the feeling Byter is quite eager to get to the current topic of today. We are going to talk a little bit about abridged series, including Friendship with Witchcraft, the Mentally Advanced series, as well as Comradery is the Supernatural. Exactly. For those who don't know the series, I will provide the links to all 3 series down below in the links. in the video description. And yeah, who wants to start to talk a little bit about certain of this series?
Which one do you want to start off with?
I think we probably best to start with the biggest one. Friendship is Witchcraft.
Okay.
So,
what's your guys' opinions on Friendship is Witchcraft?
It's not that big on my list. I don't really care about it that much. I only go to my way to watch it because I have friends who like it. I don't really like a lot of what they do. Like, I love their music, but I think that their characters are pretty bland. Like, their characters I don't feel are proper parodies of the show. Like, cult leader Fluttershy, it's funny, but it's not a parody, in my opinion.
It's not a direct parody, I think, is the direct meaning. It's like an alternate universe made up that they have their own established characters and canon.
Yeah, that's actually a point that bothers me as well a bit, because on the one hand, Witchcraft is Magic has the more advanced use of technology. They have from the very beginning very good sound. They have multiple voice actors, including a lot of female for the actual female characters. I believe in the advanced series they only got female characters later on, or voice actors. But even so, they have a lot more technical know-how they put into the series. I also prefer the setup, the characterized setup in, for example, the mentally advanced series, because they actually excuse me?
Abridged.
Mentally abridged or advanced? I'm not
It's
sure.
mentally advanced.
All right.
Yeah, but it's an abridged series, so because in there they use the actual character traits and kind of overemphasize them until to the point where it gets crazy. My perfect abridged series would probably be with the setup from the advanced series, but with the technology of the Friendship is Witchcraft.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I was going to say, in all honesty, out of all the abridged series that I've seen, whether it's anime, cartoons, or anything, Friendship is Witchcraft is the worst abridged series I've ever seen in my life.
It does not do what a abridged series does. Like, I've watched Naruto abridged and Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and all those. They parody the characters, and that's a big thing that you need to do. Because if you don't, then it's like, what am I even watching? I mean, Rarity and Applejack being war veterans makes no sense to me.
Exactly. One of the things is that what were you saying, Byter?
No, you say you're listening.
Okay, one of the things that that I really don't get with Friendship is Witchcraft is there is no starting point. Like Mentally Advanced and Comradery Supernatural both start off at a similar starting point. Like at the works his way from there. And Mentally Advanced starts at the Ticketmaster. That way, you know, it's a familiar starting point from the series to which you can integrate your characters and whatnot. Friendship with Witchcraft starts at Swarm of the Century, which is right in the middle of Season 1. And when you start to hear Vanitas start saying her name all the time, it's like, wait, why does she say that? Or why is Rarity and Applejack war veterans? Or why is Pinkie Pie a gypsy? Or is she a pastry baker? What is she? I don't know. They don't explain it.
Yeah. I mean, they really do well at their music, but like a bridge series, that's only a buffer. In a bridge series, it's about the jokes, not about the music or anything like that.
Well,
and if you actually count the actual jokes, it's very, very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way they've gone around in making Friendship with Witchcraft isn't like you would do for an actual abridged series. It's actually better, perhaps, to consider it as a fiction using the show's visuals, in the sense that they're almost making another world. You know, they're making their own version of. You know, they're doing a Cupcakes, they're doing a Fallout Equestria, they're taking it to making it as a new setting, but they're using the old visuals and the same characters. They're not.
Right.
It's not a direct parody.
Yeah, I believe they even try when you take the very last episode that came out, the one with the parody of Candlelight Wedding. They really go out of their way with the editing just to show, hey, we can change the whole story so far that in the end, Twilight marries him. Spoilers. Sorry.
God, that's the worst yet so far.
I mean, it was a really mind-boggling idea that they actually pulled it off to let it look like this, but on the other hand, it wasn't really funny. What they did was, editing-wise, really impressive. I was like, holy crap, how did they pull this off? But
yeah.
Except they keep on leaving the credits in at the beginning.
Yeah,
I was going to say, though, I actually found it interesting in the sense that whilst it isn't good towards the end, I still actually prefer the show as it goes on. Because the first few episodes are very much like the original show, just you replace the characters' dialogue with cults and other weird stuff that is supposed to be funny, I guess. Yeah. But the amount of technical stuff they do, and sometimes there is a few bits and pieces of characterization, bits and pieces here that actually start to work later on. And that finale, while it completely changed things around, I think it was at least an interesting twist to that story.
Yeah, I mean, the one big problem I have with it is that I only laughed one time with the drama joke that the guard made. Like, drama. That was the only time I laughed. Otherwise, I didn't laugh.
Yeah, the only time I laughed was where I think Twilight was doing her little sunshine thing, saying, "I will destroy you, take away your brother, booty, 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 rocket everywhere." That was the only time I laughed. Every other time, my mouth was open like this.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not. After all that time of watching the whole series, I've not really had much reason to laugh. Instead, I found it more just as a really kind of attempting to be funny set of stories that in a weird, vague setting.
Yeah, and it's weird because I remember in one episode is the Sweetie Bot episode, which is their best episode because there is actual jokes in that.
Yeah.
I remember what Sweetie Bot said at, I think it was the Sister Who Social. They were talking about like why. I think they were talking about the pig farm right there. And then Sweetie Belle said, "Oh, look, our characters are being mean and spiteful. Next, they're going to do a catchphrase." And then all of a sudden, you hear Applejack say "moonshine gravy." They address the problems with the show, but they keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think of all the characters of that show, I probably like Sweetie Bot the most. For some other reason.
Because she's A, the most likable character, and B, generates the most jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's probably the best written in the sense they're sort of stuck with the original show's material, and they always have to. A lot of their episodes very literally follow on for what has to happen in the show. So all they've done is sort of like, well, we got Fluttershy, and we can't just make her a badass. We have to just she's always acting shy in every scene, so we have to keep her shy, but instead we'll just make her some weird cult leader doing stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's always off camera, and it's always just a change of backstory rather than their actual personalities or a parody on their personalities.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I was going to say, Code...
The Advanced series differently, because there they did not try to change it completely. They emphasized the fact as it is. While Fluttershy was always kind of talked over, now she is completely... The people can't even remember her name, so...
Yeah.
But sorry, what the reason was to say that something about it.
Oh, no, I was saying that, where you're going back on, saying you're taking the one concept, then doing a complete 180 with it. There's a Code Geass Abridged series called Code Ment by Purple Eyes WTF, which basically says, what if the characters from Code Geass were a complete 180? Like, what if Lelouch was not a tactical genius, or what if Suzaku Kurorugi was actually a complete moron, and then they just run with it along with the story, and it's comedy gold every time.
Yeah. But unfortunately, in this show, you're always still stuck with the happy, pretty Ponyland, and always the characters are quite a lot of their personalities brought across by their acting.
And
they're not talking heads that often.
And going back to a previous statement that A&Y made about the technical side, I feel like they focus too much on like the technical. Oh, we have a girl voice actor. Oh, we have this. We have that. We have that. Well, you're not funny. So I mean, you know, you fail to do what you're supposed to do.
Nevertheless, it has a very great following. But something somebody in the chat already said, he compared Friendship is Witchcraft for the aspect of being so away from the original material by so much trying to create this parallel universe. He created it to compared it to the Moth series. So yeah, I'm not sure if I can really see if I really would go there and compare Friendship with Witchcraft to the Moth series, because
it's the difficulty I have is that we're still sort of basically watching the same episodes of the show. It's just you've changed you've changed their backgrounds and expositionally dialogue. That I'm still pretty sure usually what they're going to do.
Yeah, .MLV is just what would happen if My Little Pony was in the Ren and Stimpy universe.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that the .MLB series is an abridged series. It's more just this really, really crude universe that is just taking the worst extremes for all the characters.
And I believe they're intentionally trying to either shock or gross out the watchers, like, look what I'm doing with your beloved characters.
Yes, very dark sense of humor.
Yeah, I'll say what I could do with this chainsaw to Rainbow Dash.
Yeah.
And because he's making his own original content and stuff, it's the visuals go very much along with the dark content, and he can go whatever direction he wants. But they were always stuck with following the similar kind of arcs or similar kind of content from the original show.
Yeah, because, well, they use the original visuals most of the time. Even so, I believe the Friendship with Witchcraft even kind of created their very own images once in a while, but again, that's only technical advancements. But
the more they go on, the more they do stuff, like in terms of editing and additions to the visuals. And it slowly becomes a bit more their show rather than just a slight bit of change of expositionary dialogue. It's just not that a fun show there yet.
Yeah, I think that like they just need to. What they really need to improve on isn't the technical side; it's the jokes. They need to improve on actually getting people to laugh. Like they can come up with maybe a funny story, like the last one they gave us, but they need to give us jokes. You know,
like the Dragon Shy version of dub of that for the Friendship with Witchcraft. I'm not sure. It was just sort of Fluttershy has this backstory thing. They spend ages.
They spent 5 minutes trying to explain it.
Yeah.
And oh jeez, what I remember, like watching the first episode of Friendship is Witchcraft. The first joke they did was Fluttershy saying Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I find mildly funny. But then they did something like talk about eye candy. They used that same joke 7 times.
Okay, just in case it's a language thing and I don't get it, was there a joke in the first place, or was the whole joke just repeating the word every now and then? Because,
it was repeating the word. It was repeating the word 7 times.
But
they just repeated the word 7 times.
But
no joke whatsoever.
Have it. Was there any? Was it funny on its own at any point?
No.
Or did I just miss it?
No, it was not funny even to begin with. They use the joke 7 times, and sometimes they just use that annoying wah-wah music.
Yeah, I hate that music.
Sometimes. I just watched.
All the time.
I just watched 1 or 2 episodes just before the podcast. We watched them, and I was like, "Huh, I've heard this a few seconds ago."
Yeah, like they reuse the same things over and over again, and they're not going to make me like it more if they just put in that wah-wah sound all the time.
It's kind of ironic in the sense that it feels like it's putting in that wah-wah-wah sound to signify an end of a joke, but I'm not laughing.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're saying, like, the joke was here, laugh! Like, I'm not laughing.
And the jokes are often, the wah-wah-wah noises are just sort of like, and I've got to go back to my cult and do the ritual. Wah-wah-wah.
Yeah. Oh, and I think my favorite joke that I love to hate is in the Cherry Bomb episode, which is basically the last roundup, where they replaced Derpy Hooves with a rain cloud. Like, get it? Because Derpy's supposed to be here. No, where's the joke? We need joke here.
Yeah, like
it's almost like anti-humor.
Yeah.
I think. It's what I've said. The way they've gone into it is writing an alternative fic, and they just think that the humor will be derived from changing the universe up.
Yeah, honestly, if this were to be, if they made a fic like this, it would get eaten up by the pre-readers. It would get negative likes on FimFiction. EQD wouldn't even bother posting it.
But it has got such good production values. The actual video series has become very popular.
But I believe when the most recent episode was released, I believe it even got its own post on EQD, didn't it?
It did.
It's got a following now, though, so yeah. It's something of note anyway.
Enormous following. I believe it has millions of clicks. The older episodes.
Until it got banned. I said until it got banned off YouTube.
For the US.
Europeans for win.
Yeah.
To watch everything on YouTube.
I know a lot of people who like it, but I mean, I've never really talked that much with someone who who actually liked it. The only person I know online is Digi, because apparently Digi loves this shit.
Yeah. Too bad he isn't here.
Too bad he isn't here.
We actually need some pro Friendship with Witchcraft person on the chat, because now it's really one-sided.
Well, I'm sure his reasons will be of a similar line to he liked the walk cycles.
But the thing is, I believe even in the chat, the people are not really on the side of Friendship with Witchcraft, but there are millions, or at least thousands of people out there who do like it. So
I think the thing was it was quite an early production, wasn't it, in terms of the fandom? And was quite high quality.
I think it came around the same time as the other two came out. I think Manually Advanced came first, then Comradery as an April Fool's joke. And then they said, you know what, this is popular, let's make another one. And then Friendship with Witchcraft came later.
Yeah. But it's the one that somehow picked up the following. That it was the one that actually got noticed by anyone.
I believe it's really basic, mostly because of the production value. Because the Advanced series, the very first and I believe the second episode as well, the sound quality is terrible.
They do improve over time, and actually they do a lot of better editing. Like they do improve the lip movement a lot better. They actually go into like real abridged series stuff. They edit down like each syllable like it was Dragon Ball Z or Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, which I find like really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of like what you were saying, ANY. It's weird though that it has such a big following because of the technical. Because the Bridge series technically should be, you should be famous not for the editing, but because of the, comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that actually really pisses me off, because when I hear every time I hear Michelle Krieber say buy some apples at a convention, or when I look on Everfree Network at the top 100 songs of 2012, and I see like the Gypsy Bard is number 17, beating out one of my favorite Aviator songs, One Last Letter.
Oh yeah.
It just really pisses me off that a series that has no jokes, awful characters, and just a massive following basically kind of like the Transformers, Michael Bay Transformers movies, would get so popular, but you have really good quality abridged series like Comradery and Mentally Advanced get the shaft.
I think though, to jump to the defense of Friendship with Witchcraft though, the majority of it I think we can all agree we don't like, but for some reason, I think it did do stuff like Sweetie Bot well, and I think it did do its songs well, and I liked, for example, Spike being the lightning rod on top of the treehouse. Small. There's little tiny moments in that show that are brilliant and that have stuck through with people. So I'm not so upset with people remembering the good parts of it. It's just a shame that there's so much you have to wade through to get there.
Like that's my big thing with a lot of the episodes is that there is comedy, but just so far and so few between that I can't like it ultimately.
It's not even just. It's not even comedy. It's sometimes just cool concepts like Sweetie Bot.
Yeah.
And even that that's their best joke so far to date. Which really isn't saying much.
Interestingly, sorry, I was just going to mention the Luna episode.
Oh God,
I'm not sure if they just try to piss off all Luna fans at once.
Well, I think though Interestingly, though, this is like one of the most accurate to the show, in the sense that the whole arc is an awkward Luna comes in, and people react to her. And the reactions now make a bit more sense, and the lore is actually established beforehand.
Which should have been done in the first episode, honestly.
For Luna.
But the one thing... And the one thing that I really like was they have the content, but where are the jokes? A lot of the times it's just like the townsfolk going scared. It's almost like Tobuscus's literal videos.
That was one thought I thought of. That it very much is, instead of making any sound effects for them, it's taking it very literally what they're doing. But that is a form of parody. It's just. It's not that particularly funny. It's just sort of. I'm not sure I find it bad. It's just sort of it's pointing it out. And sometimes that's what parody is. It doesn't always have to be funny to be parody. It's just generally we enjoy parody to be funny for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, another thing about it is that the characters in the Friendship is Witchcraft, like all the characterizations that I like, there's a better one, or at least a just as good one in the Mentally Advanced series. So, like, I mean, Sweetie Bot is really funny, but then you have Thrakkerzod in the Mentally Advanced version, which is also very funny. So,
ironically, I think Luna and Rainbow Dash and Sweetie Bot are probably the best characters they have in Friendship is Witchcraft.
I'm not so sure about Luna, but Rainbow Dash and
Well, Luna at least fits the role of the episode, which was the similar role to the actual episode. And it was an interesting parody. I found that at least could be interpreted as a form of parody of her position in that episode, because that episode does have a few technical oddities to it when watching it.
Leaving the credits in at the beginning.
Still pissed off about this one.
They constantly leave the credits in. And I know Mentally Advanced sort of had that problem. They just say, you know what, let's start at the middle of the episode and start the plot here. With, I think, the recent one where it was Student for Success, but it turns out that the plot is Rarity was actually dating Hoity Toity, and now she's having a big fit.
I love how what they did in that instance with the Mentally Advanced series was that they had, like, one scene the entire way through, and they just kept using it. It was
really watching in your butt.
It's one form of it's that one form of repetition that actually works. They actually they still use that. Flutter is still standing in the middle. Pinkie Pie's insulting Pinkie Pie shy for her problems, and then I still remember this. The line that always gets me is where Pinkie, everyone's blaming Fluttershy. Is like, sorry, I don't know why I keep doing this.
Whilst I can agree it's a much better parody, I'm not so much of a fan of that abridged series either myself. I think my main problem with it is mainly that it's taken the show and basically just added in mature humor, and it stops creating about there. Well, that's a bit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the characters are better though, I think, because I mean, like, they make sense, and they're like, and what I said, they're extremes of the actual version, which makes it a big parody and very funny for me.
All right.
So
I think the one
kind of raises the question about what about the Rainbow Dash Present series, because there they take the characters they established and make it into but use it in a setting. They are more free. They have more liberties to take because they are not using the visuals from the show.
Yeah, yeah. I really like Rainbow Dash Presents, and I also liked his latest, like, first short video, Alicorn Day. That was really fun.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Yes.
I think for me it's just a matter of personal taste that I can't find. It's not. It's a bit long sometimes for the mature jokes to just keep going on and on and on. For me, there's not enough juxtaposition.
Yeah, I think the one problem that I have with the mentally advanced series, it's not really quotable. I mean, there are very funny conversations that go on, like Rarity and Applejack going on about how Rarity had a Rex with Brayburn, but the thing is, there really isn't one line you can actually latch onto, and this is actually one thing I'm actually giving credit for Friendship is Witchcraft. There are a couple of lines that are easily quotable, like Rarity comparing Sweetie Bot to a Slinky when she goes down the stairs.
Set phases to hug.
Yeah, and that's actually why my favorite out of all three of the Brit series is Comradery Supernatural. They have all the jokes are fantastic. They basically follow the show to a T with their own interpretations, and basically, as they point out in their second episode, basically the 6 elements of parody: the multiple interpretations, which is Applejack, the straight character, which is Fluttershy. The fourth wall humor and knowing who the audience is Pinkie Pie. The person with comedic timing is Rarity. The homage, which is basically a Sonic parody, is Rainbow Dash, and then Twilight represents the faithfulness to the source material.
Yeah. I would have to say, of all of them, my favorite is that one as well. Is that one because it is the most faithful, and it actually calls back to the original show the most and parodies it. The very introduction of that first episode, it parodies the introduction of the show. Well, once upon a time, there was a bunch of ponies for some reason, I guess, and there was daytime and nighttime, but they didn't go do anything during the nighttime, so because they didn't have discos.
And they didn't have nightclubs or Rocky Horror Midnight screenings.
Yes. I was just like, oh wow, this is awesome. This is actually, it's self-conscious parody of the show.
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching Comradery is Supernatural a while back, and it actually wasn't that funny for me. I don't really, like, it wasn't very memorable, and the reason I think it wasn't is because I compared it to the Mentally Advanced, which is the one I love. And the Mentally Advanced, I like that type of humor. I really like crude, adult humor, that type of stuff. And so I guess, like, if I was to look at Comradery as Supernatural in a different light, it'd be more entertaining.
I think the final line for me is, like, Comradery Supernatural had the most fun writing. That it was the most true to the show, that it had the most reflectiveness. And I think also I liked was that they chopped lots out of it, that each episode is actually quite short. The other ones, sometimes they take a lot of the footage from each episode, and it drags on for like 16 to 20 minutes.
Lunar Slander was 19 minutes long. That's not an abridged series. That's like That's like an abridged movie.
Yeah.
I'd say that yeah, they had the most clever script, I think, for me. The annoying thing with it though is the voices they've got behind it. The narrator was awesome, but the rest, the voices were a bit really grating me. It was only what they were saying was so awesome that I could sort of overlook that. Whenever they have.
I think what I was saying, because I know Falero, who is the voice of Yamcha in the new voice of Yamcha in the Dragon Ball Z Abridged, is the narrator and Dr. Hoobs, and then you have God, I think what's the guy's name? I think Game Freak or Cyberlink is the voice of Rainbow Dash, but what they do is they change his vocals to sound a lot more like Sonic.
Yeah.
Because he plays Sonic in in his own series, Sonic F.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the Sonic voice is kind of painful to me. It's just really high pitched.
I find it utterly hilarious. I find it hilarious.
It's a question. When it is painful on purpose, is it still good or is it not good?
It's not there to be. I don't think they made the character voices painful on purpose, other than obviously making it Sonic. But I think it's the other girls in there were a bit too squeaky.
I believe
it was just this very squeaky cast.
I believe one of them had a very terrible microphone as well. It was like you're listening to the other guys and girls who sound okay, and then there was this, at least the voice of Rarity, wasn't it? Who was totally off.
Yeah, Rarity's mic didn't sound right in her stuff. It almost sounded like she was using one of their headsets.
Yeah.
Instead of like having one of Ann Y's mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like all of them hit some bit of pieces here and there, but they don't. There's not one that pulls it all together yet for me. Friendship with Witchcraft does have the execution. Mentally Abridged, it does handle it quite well, and I do really like the voice actor behind it. It's only one. It was mostly one guy.
Yeah.
And I really like that kind of feel to it, having only one voice behind the whole parody. It gives it a bit of it gives it personality.
Except of all the male characters who are voiced by girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know that, what was it? I think Jenny Nicholson and Griffin Lewis both do the voices for Friendship is Witchcraft, so I think, I think Griffin does all, like, some male voices, some voices like Castia, or some other character, but Jenny does all the female voices, including Spike. Then I think for Manly Vance, it's split between three guys. Then Comradery has a full cast. Mystic Pyro Freak does both Applejack and Twilight. I think. Oh god, I can't remember the person who plays Pinkie Pie, but she always cracks me up. Then I think Rena Chan does both Luna and Cheerilee. And but I think probably the one I'm most impressed with for at least Friendship with Witchcraft is Rena Bergquist as Scootaloo. She actually does sound a lot like Scootaloo.
I mean, one big thing is that the characterizations in the Mentally Advanced series are noticeably different, and because they're noticeably different, they're more entertaining. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, like I said, the humor isn't the type I go in for in a Bridge series, and I much prefer the humor of the other one. Of Comradery Supernatural.
Okay.
I much prefer the direct parody of taking the show and its story and just running it through with fun little twists here and there.
And pretty honest about it as well, with the whole concept.
Yeah, they're very self-conscious throughout it, and they often point out, very obvious things about the show. Like I think they bring up like Batman Gambit like twice.
Yeah.
I think that was I remember that was like in the first time was like P.S. is not this totally isn't a Batman Gambit to stop the end of the world, and then the second one, second episode. But I thought you said it wasn't a Batman Gambit to the end of the world. I lied.
Yes. I love little clever payoffs like that. That's more the humor I'm into.
Yeah. Yeah, like I do think that I think the difference is that the Mentally Advanced series parodies the characters, not the show, but the characters.
Yeah.
And then Comradery Supernatural parodies the show. So
I think, yeah, and I think Mentally Abridged, since the show's mostly about the characters and it's mostly incredibly serial, there's not much to make fun of the story. It's generally like, Rainbow Dash is going to a competition. Yay.
Yeah. Often they actually morph the story and make it something completely different. Like the latest one, that was nothing like the original story. They completely, went a different direction. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and like in the Dragon Shy episode, of course, it was the same plot, but they had different motivations to actually do it. And then at the end, Pinkie Pie goes in her Daffy Duck costume, and then she feeds the dragon poison lobster. It's like, the deed has been done.
Yes, I love that. The box full of poison lobsters.
Finished them off? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And the Friendship as Witchcraft, they padded out jokes way too much, used very weak humor, and didn't come across as funny in the slightest.
Yeah.
Instead, I think it just wowed people with its technical prowess, or at least that's why people come to it.
Yeah.
It's
a shame that it has the monopoly of MLP Abridged Series, and that Comradery is supernatural, and the Mentally Advanced Series isn't as well known.
Yeah, at least not as much. Yeah. So also there was this interview on Everfree Radio. What was the name of the show? Can't remember.
I'll get it shortly. Post My Video?
Post My Video, yes, that's the one.
Yep.
Right. Because, what might be interesting to talk about this one is the fact that in this very first episode of Post My Video, the creator of Friendship with Witchcraft was actually got interviewed.
Oh, yeah. Griffin?
And I believe...
Is it Griffin? Is that the guy who does it? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe the Voice of Reason has quite an opinion about this interview.
Oh boy, where do I begin with this interview? Okay, well, one of the things that I noticed is this guy, and if Griffin, if you're listening, please don't take this the wrong way. One of the things I noticed is that a lot of his complaints, or at least things that he said, doesn't really make sense in the long run. For example, one of the things they said was talking about getting footage for the episode. It's like of course, it's not like in a Brit series where he can use footage all the time. He's saying that he was limited by the footage that we used. I'm listening to the video. So is Mentally Advanced and Comradery. So I have no idea what the heck your problem is.
It's a different mindset, I think, in the sense that he wants to tell his own different setting rather than parody the show or the characters. So
the thing is, he does that all the time.
Yeah, it's the way he's approaching it. The way he approaches it is he's trying to make this whole different setting rather than parodying the show.
And
but ironically, he uses probably the most footage of the show.
But also, even so, he is the one complaining. He is the one with the most original content. For in the last episode, he created the images for the song where all created himself. He did the avalanche where he was able to project all the ABBA pictures. ABBA images, right? The ABBA images into the actual original footage. So he actually is the one who should complain the least because he makes the most original stuff. So
Exactly. If he should complain, he should be complaining about why he does all this original stuff and not the actual show material.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a matter of his mindset and the way he approaches trying to make his series.
Agreed.
I think we all agree that basically we're looking for an abridged parody series, and what he's produced is his own fanfic world. Using original content, which feels odd and awkward.
Yeah, it's with him and Jenny Nicholson, because they co-created. The second thing that I noticed when in the interview, he was talking about I'm trying to remember. Oh, now I remember. It was in the, I think towards the middle or closer to the end of the interview. He was saying that, a lot of fans were actually kind of peeved that we didn't continue along with the whole witchcraft angle. And he goes on saying, well, think of our series as more of random things happen in Equestria. I'm thinking to myself, so your title, Friendship is Witchcraft, is a complete lie. That whole portal thing didn't lead to anything. The smooth stuff, it got postponed, but again, you said it's going to come back in a year. Doesn't lead to anything. The whole Lovecraftian horror inside the town hall does not lead to anything.
Yeah, and randomness. He's not even that great at random things. Like we said earlier, it's not that funny. So he puts in all this random shit, and it's not that funny. So why should he be moving away from the witchcraft angle?
I just want to say about Lovecraftian horror, Comradery Supernatural did that way better with Pinkie Pie's Oven.
Yes, definitely.
They actually animated the whole Lovecraftian oven.
I believe Lovecraftian horror kind of appears everywhere. Isn't in the abridged, in the Mentally Advanced series, the Sweetie Belle version is also obsessed by this creature. Someone of you was able to remember the name. What was it called?
Thrakerzod.
Thrakerzod. I believe it was a reference to this rat-like creature from one of the Lovecraftian stories as well. At least it had the same feel to me, like it.
Yeah.
The point I was trying to get across is here. It is. I remember. You guys watch Top of the Fourth Wall with Lankara?
Some.
Yeah, I remember in his countdown review, he was talking about Plot Point, where Triplicate Girl and Karate Kid have this intimate moment and actually develops good character development, and then it gets distracted by Brother Eye destroying the lab. And I remember the exact line he says, down, I just interesting ideas and then just crumple up, throw it in the trash. That's pretty much Friendship is Witchcraft in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I think it never seemed to, from the beginning, be a promised epic super story because the show is so ridiculously serial, and they never seem to have a clear, unified arc to weave through the show, other than just sort of mentioning, there's some witchcraft going off there, or there really is some odd backstory to this place. But you can't.
Explain it? Nope.
No, it's always going to be something off-screen or just given via exposition, unless they animate something in themselves by them. Because you're doing only original footage on an incredibly serial show, you're not going to be able to have some grand unified narrative.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I would say that the Mentally Advanced series does it better in making up random stories on the side. It does a better job at doing that.
If you don't try and make a unified story that's progressing, like Friendship is Witchcraft, then you could just completely just make up whatever you want for each episode.
Yeah, which is kind of what I think. If the guy Griffin wants to do that, I think he should, do what you just said, cut it up and not try to do it just like the show.
And this regards Spawn in the chat wrote earlier that apparently the producer of the abridged, the advanced series, Flim Flam Philosopher, apparently stated something similar in an interview with Paleo. I have to admit I haven't watched or listened to.
I saw a little bit of that.
Oh.
Wait, is this the Brony Breakdown one with Flim Flam, Saberspark, and Paleo? Because I know they did that one a long time ago.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I think most of us can't remember it anyway. Is it alright?
Yeah.
But you kind of did see it was a reason. Okay. So, yeah, but in the end, that's the whole idea of an abridged series, that you take original footage and redub it in a kind of alienated, interesting way. Probably a funny one, because...
make it right. There was one thing I wanted to talk about that I'm not sure I've ever seen it in pop culture, and I'm sure you guys have had much more experience with it than I have. But one thing I've always sort of enjoyed in shows is actually doing my own redubs on the fly. That you're watching a show, like you got something on TV, you mute it, you know, like it's sometimes like you're on a long trip in a foreign country, and there's nothing good on TV that you can understand in French. So you mute the blooming channel, and then you just improv what you think they're saying and what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't really know any.
I've done that sometimes. Yeah.
I don't know any series that does that, but that does sound like really interesting. I know. You ever hear of bad lip reading?
No.
Oh, there's a channel on YouTube called Bad Lip Reading where they take like
someone
from
lip reads.
Twilight, Avengers, and I think like there's one where it's the NFL, and they just either they like mute the dialogue or something, and then they just read their lips like what do you think they're saying?
Yeah.
And then they just and then they just run with it, and it's some of the most like hilarious stuff.
It's like I actually kind of like the avenue for that kind of thing. If you get one guy who's really good at improv and has a really good personality, then all you have to do is mute the stream and just run the episode for 20 minutes. And they just make up every character and every motivation and what's going on. That you have to improv why stuff is going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Think of like the very beginning, season 1 prelude. It's kind of like, well, there's some ponies around here, and there's a white pony and a black pony, and and then there's this alicorn one, and she's like, why the hell am I reading this book? Oh, well, I ran off to the library. Ah, dragon! What's he doing here? I broke a present. I don't know. It could be so. It could be like. Have you guys ever heard of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? Or Only a Minute? Yeah. Yeah, something. I mean, those are like more games, but you know, there's great humor that can be derived from improv, from acting, from making stuff up on the fly. Yeah. And
I know actually, Whose Line did.
Yeah, Whose Line?
Whose Line did a thing like that where they took old
they
footage.
Did that. They would have it on the TV screen
and they just redub it.
And they would both pretend to be different characters.
But I'm afraid this concept will probably not work with somebody who is already familiar with this series or with the episode in question. Or
unless they title it. Unless they title it My Little Pony: The Improv Series.
Somebody did it, or
has someone done that? What?
I don't think anyone's done it yet.
Someone should, or like you get like a friend in who's very good at improv and make them do it blind. Like you get someone who's blind, right? And they have to start it off, and then you play off it, you have the knowledge and they don't.
That's an idea. Because you can't let one single brony do it because, well, he knows probably every episode and
there's no sense of discovery.
Yeah, you need somebody who doesn't know it, but who is willing to join in. Or another possibility would be for season 4 to just watch every new episode, mute it the first time, record it, and do the thing, and only watch the episode afterwards.
Yeah, it just sounds so epic, and the thing is always with these abridged series is in the sense you always have to write out a complete script, act it out, get whoever additional voice actors you need, and animate additional stuff onto there if you're wanting to do visual gags. It's a very high effort production, but an improv series is you 20 minutes in front of the episode, completely blind, go, you got the thing.
Yeah. And if you can find someone who can do that, it would be really, really, really funny. What?
Yeah, if you get someone with charisma and really good improv skills.
Not me.
Yeah.
Internet, get on that now.
Yes.
Yes.
So spread the word. We need an MLP improv dub version. So either get somebody who is good in dubbing and improvisation and does not know MLP very good, or do it for yourself in season 4. Would be great. I probably watch it right away. If you do it and it's good, I'll promote it. And I'll say, did you to promote it as well?
Yeah, that was my idea of what I think is sort of missing, an improv, because I like that type of humor, and it's still playing off the show, but you don't need to write in jokes. Yeah. It's just humorous to see you try and come up with solutions to problems.
And it's kind of funny sometimes to watch someone just like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, what's that?
Imagine like if you put someone through blind Wonderbolt Academy or something, and they're like, "Oh, okay," and they act out every single person in the field, and then suddenly, "Oh wait, I'm suddenly in a big sky fortress," because they had no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's always when I've done those kind of improvs, you come up with some imaginary thing that's going on.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, boom, your characters are in a graveyard, and you're like, so they're looking to buy a car in a graveyard. How can I... There's just so much emergent humor that can emerge from that. I've always loved doing that when I'm away in foreign territories, is just watching like some French soap opera and just going to town with absolutely ridiculous theories.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, well.
Well, this conversation got off track.
Yeah, sorry. I think we sort of covered friendship, witchcraft, camaraderie, supernatural, mentally. I think we mostly agree on all those for the most part.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think for me, the best combination would, of course, be camaraderie, supernatural, parodying the actual show, maybe with the characters or mentally abridged, and with the voice acting talent of mentally abridged and maybe witchcraft.
Yeah.
And that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would.
I would actually really love to see like all three of them get in there. I like they have the writing and comedy from both French from Camaraderie, Supernatural and Mentally Advanced, and then you have like the voice acting talent from Mentally Advanced and Friendship is Witchcraft, and then you have the songs from both Camaraderie and Friendship is Witchcraft, and you have like this giant conglomerate episode that just connects all three.
And maybe take out the wall
supernatural mental witchcraft.
Yeah. It'd be
My Little Supernatural Mental Witchcraft.
No, it'd be like My Little Camaraderie, Witchcraft is Mental.
That could work.
I'm sure we can at least get one more combination of the words out of this.
Yes.
Oh, there's one in the chat. Mentally advanced supernatural witchcraft. Sounds a lot. Huh?
Just jumble them all together and you're fine.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I thought I liked the line that Camaraderie Supernatural left with against Nightmare Moon was, Reason brought this up as well, the AJ alternate interpretation, Fluttershy straight man, Pinkie Pie fourth wall humor, Rarity comic timing, Rainbow Dash the homage, Twilight, faithfulness to the source material. And then she says directly to Nightmare Moon, the best parodies are those which positively build on the original work, rather than rely on things like gratuitous cursing or unrelated pop culture jokes. There's a reason the original show caught people's interest in the first place, and playing tribute to that isn't a cop-out, it's comedy.
Right.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to just mention is I do like in the Mentally Advanced series, I like how they add in those like abstract concepts on the side, like pony racism. That's really funny. Like whenever you have Rarity, just insult the earth ponies. Oh my god.
Have you heard me and INY's comments on pony racism on the after the Applejack one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Family reunion. Yeah, it was one of the early podcasts where it was only the two of us, Byter and me, and I believe in the second half we kind of got to the point where we accused the Apple family of being racist, and I kind of got the theory that Applejack might be an alicorn and just no, oh god damn it, I'm season's final.
To give it justice, what it was like I saw there's remixes of the song, and one of them he called it "Racist Barn."
Yeah.
And kind of like how you reply to a YouTube thing, I wanted to start typing, "Don't be silly, it's not a racist barn." Wait a minute, are they actually? And I stopped before posting. I was like, wait a minute, are they actually racist? Well, they are all similar colors, and they are all earth ponies, and they, counted the multiculturalness of this universe, and that if you have even a really distant ancestor, like with the cakes, then you could have unicorns or Pegasi. So you have to have a really long ancestry of only Earth ponies to have an entire only Earth pony family. So it's like,
That's why I came up with the theory that Applejack is actually a unicorn. And he's hiding she's hiding her horn below her head.
No, I don't think that's what they really intended.
No, I'm sure this is true.
But it's kind of it's a bit sad actually. Like every single parent has parents of the same race as them. So Twilight's parents are both unicorns. Rainbow Dash's one parent we do know of, I guess, is a Pegasus. That Earth ponies have Earth pony parents, so on and so forth. There's never any multiculturalness in there, even though there really should be. And I don't think it's on purpose.
No, the only one case is baby cakes, and
I believe they've tried compensating for all the uni-races thing in the families by creating this family who has all three races crammed into one.
It's still the main couple of.
It was done.
They're basically the only main married couple we know of, and they're both Earth, aren't they? And even in the dating one, they're trying to put two Earths together, and all the couples we see, aren't they all the same races?
Yeah.
In the
actually, unless you count, sorry.
Time out. There is a comment in the chat saying that Rarity's dad is actually supposed to be an Earth pony.
The thing is with Rarity's dad is he's wearing that big huge hat on top of where his horn would be.
It was a theory that Digi brought up at one point.
But he's referring to the wiki, so it could be true.
It could be. The only thing is we can't be certain. So the only one we have is propped under a hat.
Are you doubting the wiki?
Well, actually, you know what would be a funny thing that they would have done, which is completely uncalled for, but in the Find a Perfect Stallion song, what if they did, oh no, this one's a unicorn, this one's a Pegasus?
Oh, God.
That would really go against the feel of the show, but it is unfortunately what they imply by every single grouping being of the same race.
Yeah.
It just seems odd to me, how your ancestry goes really far back for you to even just... You can always have unicorns or Pegasi as your offspring. And colors in families, the colors of the manes of the coats are incredibly varied as well. But the Apple family are all apple-colored for the most part.
Are they really this multicolored?
It's the point though that you don't have any purple ones. You don't have...
Yeah, but Rarity's parents are both pretty bright, I believe. Sweetie Belle is white as well. Twilight's parents have also this violet.
They're often made to be very similar, but there's still quite a bit of variance. It's just the Apple family are so similar. So actually,
there was.
I was just going to say that you're an Apple family member, and you go out and you find another Earth-colored pony out there, another one who's also greens and orange.
Yeah.
Actually, there was one blue pony.
There was?
Yeah. Yes. If you remember in the flashback when. With little baby Applejack and you're saying Apple Fuera. Yeah, that's that one blue pony.
Oh yes, yeah.
He was one of the castrated ones who wasn't allowed to breed for the Apple Master Race.
I'm really happy this time it wasn't me who brings in the Yeah, really.
Yeah. We get it.
Yeah.
Well, he did show up in the reunion again, so apparently he's allowed to.
It was a point we mentioned that me and A were like, even if Applejack had a horn, then she can't be allowed to breed because she is still technically genetically a unicorn. So even if you had those one-off offspring, they aren't encouraged to breed in the family unless all of them are eventually going to be pretty much mutants and have to cover it up. And then,
if she's a unicorn, which I don't think she is, if she is, then that would she must be a terrible, terrible unicorn because she doesn't use her magic to get the apples then. So I mean,
she's not allowed by Apple family standard. She has to hide it.
That would be weird.
It's weird just first suggesting that they cut off her horn because she's a unicorn, and then asks her to repress it.
Well, this chat escalated quickly.
It's an unfortunate implication of making everyone in this universe so similar when there's no reason why they shouldn't be, unless there really was pony racism. It's an unfortunate problem when you say, well, I've got to make family members. So I may as well make them earth tones, just like Applejack.
Yeah.
The problem is when you make everyone earth tones, then it's kind of weird.
And then you also have each race have their distinct abilities. That also just adds to it, whoa, there might be pony racism there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's another nice topic for an abridged series. But on the other hand, there are already racist themes in the abridged series.
Yes. It's a go-to joke in the mentally advanced.
Yeah, exactly. Like the unicorn being the master race and everything. Oh, you still see Earth Pony.
All the way back circle.
Yeah. Don't both of them use the unicorns as the master race because they can do magic? And Pinkie and the Earth ponies and whatnot are always the third-class citizens.
Yes, exactly.
And I believe the episode Heartwarming Eve was not really helping in this regard, showing only showing the Earth ponies in this rags, while the unicorns have crowns and everything, and the Pegasus are all military and all.
Yeah, make the Earth ponies slaves. That doesn't help the.
Not really.
Have any of them reused that footage to just demonstrate, like a flashback? Well, as you know, unicorns are superior to Earth ponies.
One question that came actually very, very early on during the podcast was, have you guys any theory on why Sweetie Belle kind of always turns out to be equian in some kind of way, being a bot or being a demonic entity or... I don't know, did she have... No, she wasn't present in Comradery Supernatural. But, yeah.
Yeah, she was, but she was normal.
She was not... Oh, my God. So, have you guys any theory on why Sweetie Belle?
I think it's because of the voice. The thing is, I think what her talent is probably most likely going to be is probably going to be singing and having a beautiful singing voice. So I think what the abridgers will do is have either make her sound robotic or have this very baritone voice to go off of, and then she'll.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I'm pretty much done. What are you saying, Byter?
I was just going to say, I think it's also her role in the show compared to the other CMC. Applebloom is the sort of more the lead who just keeps going, I want a cutie mark. Scootaloo is kind of the side one, but Sweetie Belle is always sort of one who just randomly jumps up and says something, just something high pitched.
And says it in a cute way, she's the cute one. So it's kind of it's funny when you take the cute young unicorn and turn her into a demon or a robot or something like that.
Yeah, you're taking the cute singing one.
And basically turning her into Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple, which I love. Which, by the way, I love Rainbow Dash presents Rainbow Factory with that last segment with Sweetie Belle narrating all the tracks and just ending with the choice is yours and yours alone. Good luck.
Yes. They give her a really deep voice, isn't it, in that one?
Yeah, I think they do.
Completely contrast with her role normally as being the high-pitched, cute one.
I
elect that we bring kittens.
Okay. So, any final statements about what makes the good abridged series?
Crude humor. Crude humor is, for me, at least. I admire other forms, but crude humor is probably the one that crude adult humor is where I'd probably go to the most.
I guess I go with this one as well.
The 6 elements of abridging that Comradery put up.
Good point.
Well, I'll say my final conclusion would be that abridged series are, or at least any series where you're taking the original content and then working over it, is a bit like a riff track. That you're riffing on the original work, and in this case, we're talking about when you're redubbing it to and making fun of the characters or the setting.
Yeah.
You can be crude, you can be intelligent, you can be a complete waste of time. It's just a matter of riffing on something and doing it in an entertaining or funny way.
Yeah.
So, I guess this was the 11th episode of Crepuscularity Discuss. Today we talked a lot about abridged series, as well a little bit about racism again. Why? Why is this happening to us?
It keeps coming up.
Oh, damn you, Apple family! Okay, nevertheless, it was really nice talking to you.
Also,
for sticking with us.
All the links will be down below.
Well, see everybody next time. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.
Lark.